Hi everyone. Today I want to take a look at perspective and niche definition or solidification. Niche, regardless of how you define it, it's our place out here. It's our role in the world. It's what we're becoming or are positioning ourselves as an expert in. And we've talked a lot previously about how you've got to go an inch wide and a mile deep, meaning as absolute narrow focused as possible. And you don't want to, to try to be jack of all trades out here. You don't want to be overgeneralized, or you will never get that personal branding correctly in place. You have to have some very narrow, very topic-based field that you are an expert in. And so, we come back to this time and again because it's an evolving process. It's a process both, particularly when we're getting started. We start with something general, and as we get more focused, more streamlined, we start to narrow it down. And you'll find several steps along the way in your business that you'll narrow it again. And you'll play there for a while and you'll narrow it again. And so that's essentially what was starting to come into phase for me. I thought I had mine together. I thought I, had my head together with this, wrapped around it just fine. And I attended WordPress's WordCamp Chicago up in Chicago, Illinois, just about a week and a half ago. And I discovered in a rather odd and rather uncomfortable situation that I didn't. And this all transpired because of the really simple question. It's very easy to ask. And the question is, so what is it that you do? Or what do you do? And, although I was asking that question of other people, suddenly, when the light was on me, oh boy, did I squirm. Wow, the frustration level. Yeah, I found myself backpedaling. I found myself, giving some rather fluffy, not so working answers. I found myself doing a lot of justifying of what I do out here on a more general basis and not being specific and not narrowing it down and not being comfortable with that answer. And I knew from the justification that I heard in my tone that I was coming off, both fluffy, but also defensive and not sure about what I was doing, which said that I didn't have it together. And that didn't fly. At a personal level, deep in my heart, deep in my chest, in my head, that wasn't working. And anywhere else, I'd have pulled back and either I'd A, have ignored the question, ignored the situation or the need to solve this, or B, I would have taken some time to sit and think. But here I was at this conference, about 500 people, of which I probably met 200 of them over the course of 2 days. And that question was basically on auto fire in my face. And, I just answered from one and I'd turn around and somebody would ask it again. And wow, I just could not cut a break. But what it did was it kept it in my face and it made me really think about the need to have this answer that I could give to these people who aren't in our field, who don't have an understanding of what we're doing out here, who, have a completely different background, even if it's related, because these were WordPress people, who may or may not have some preconceived notions of internet marketing, which I was definitely seeing. And so I had to find an answer that worked for this community. And what I found as I kept trying to put words together was that I really didn't understand a word that worked for my target community. That while most people would say that I'm out here, doing social media beginner or, social media for beginners or beginning internet marketing, that even though that's true, even though we're talking foundation skills, and even though I teach a lot of foundation skills, when I run those terms by people that I would consider an ideal fit for what I'm teaching, they backpedal. My target market doesn't like those terms. And so there's now what I'm working on. There's what I'm trying to get into the head, into the mindset of my target market. Look at those individuals, look at those people, who are in that situation that maybe have some foundation skills in place, maybe not what they want, maybe not a whole lot, but they might have taken a class, they might have paid a serious amount of money, and as such, regardless of whether it's true or not, they don't consider themselves a beginner. Now, it's hard to say just what they do consider themselves, because that's the term I'm looking for at the moment. But this is where I want to stress that it's really important that we have a very clear understanding of our target market, and that we get in their heads, that we come to understand how they think and how they see themselves. What's important here is that I find a term that when I write it, a term or expression, that when I write it, they say, oh, that's me. They identify with that expression or that phrase. And so that's really critical for finding this set of terms that's going to become the verbiage for how I will explain to others what it is that I do. All right. So that's where I'm at the moment, and if you've got any insight to that, I'm more than thrilled to hear it. Now, I have a challenge for you. What I want to hear from you is, if I come up to you and say we don't know each other, and I ask, so what do you do? What's your answer? Leave it below, as well as your thoughts and your insights. Let me know, where you're at in your own niche definition, what struggles you've had in defining yourself. Maybe you've already been through this. Maybe this is kind of an old hat game to you and you can shed some insight into this struggle. Or maybe you're just getting started and this will help you figure out how to really keep the focus on what it is that we're doing with defining these niches and breaking them down, and how you need to keep focused on that so you don't get too wide of a platform out here. All right, I look forward to hearing from you below. I'll talk to you soon.